Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Amanda Windsor, Marketing Manager at Life is Tech. Thank you for joining us, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Well, before we talk about the cool product and the offer going on now, give me an overview of what Life is Tech is all about.
Yeah, good question to kick it off. So Life is Tech is an educational company, originally and currently based in Japan. And they are the creators of Disney Codeillusion, which is a comprehensive coding education program. The program was launched successfully in Japan and has been wildly successful there. And so at the end of 2019, the decision was made to bring it to the U.S. market as well. So now we have Life is Tech USA, and that's who I'm working with, and excited to talk to you about Disney Codeillusion here in the States.
Well, tell me about Disney Codeillusion. What is it?
Yeah, so Disney Codeillusion, as I was mentioning, is a comprehensive coding education program. The biggest distinction here is the approach to coding education. So we really pride ourselves on blending that education with entertainment to take kind of a complex and tricky subject matter like coding that kind of trips a lot of people up and makes it approachable and achievable and able to be retained by people of kind of all skill levels and all age ranges as well. So the program itself has it has 125 different lessons. Within these lessons, you learn game development, web design, and media art through kind of the essential 4 coding languages. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and processing. As I was mentioning, the entertainment component of this, obviously with the title Disney Codeillusion, all of these lessons, all of these programs, some of your favorite Disney friends and characters and original movie scenes are what you're learning to program for and with. So it just makes it a really unique experience for the students that are progressing through these lessons.
Sounds very cool. Now you're doing something really special while so many people, young people and older people are home due to the coronavirus. Tell us what you're doing.
That's correct. So we currently are offering access to all 125 lessons for free for 14 days. And there's no catch to it. We're not taking any, information. It's not like after 14 days you get this mystery invoice. Kind of a no strings attached, where we just want to give people the opportunity to learn and acquire a new skill during this time. We know there's people that have a lot of extra time on their hands, looking for good and productive ways to outlet that time. So that's why we created this offer. So as you mentioned, obviously great for students that are at home right now with all the schools being closed, to continue that kind of virtual and distance learning. So we've had a handful of teachers that are using it with their virtual education with their students, parents that are wanting children to learn it, and tons of, adult people that are just looking to acquire that new skill, or even kind of just dipping their toe into the water to see if a potential career change or a future in some type of coding-centric career path would work for them as well.
And if they choose to continue beyond the 14 days, tell me about the pricing, how it works, because typically you work with schools and such, right?
So the program right now is actually more of a kind of a consumer-facing product. So we're selling it online for e-commerce. We do have it in a couple of pilot programs with schools across the country. So that is one facet of it. But our biggest goal right now is to, kind of get it in the hands of just as many people as possible. After the 14 days, there is obviously, we're hoping that people will get tremendous value out of the program and want to stick with it and buy the full version of it. But we'll be offering that at a heavily discounted rate. That discount will be kind of based off of the progress a person has made within the program through those 14 days. But people can expect to see, upwards of like 50% off the total price. And with that, they'll get to keep the complimentary login that we've given them that gives them access to all online lessons, as well as they'll receive another login with the keepsake memory book. So with this lesson only plan, it is access to all of the like online curriculum, but with Disney Codeillusion, there is also an offline component where you get, as I was just mentioning, this keepsake magic book is what we call it. And it's basically a really robust kind of memory book or photo album. And as you're progressing through, you unlock mystery puzzles, postcards, things like that, that you need kind of that physical book to also make everything come full circle. So people will receive that. So essentially, once you finish the 14 days and you decide to purchase, you'll get to have 2 logins as well as the full offline experience.
And can you give us an idea of what the pricing might be at that point?
Yeah, so currently the price point is at just under $2,000 for the full program. And the pricing, as I mentioned, if essentially you progress through and complete around 40 to 50%, you can expect to see upwards of, $800, $900, close to $1,000 off.
Interesting. So this is a serious program. It's not just a game for adults and young people. Tell us about the skills they're going to come away with.
Yeah, another really good question. So the skills that you'll come away with, as I was mentioning kind of earlier, so obviously we focus on the 4 core languages of coding. So HTML, CSS, processing, JavaScript. And we have it bucketed into 3 core lesson segments. So media art, game development, and web design. The program itself is designed so all lessons build on top of each other. So you'll do everything in Chapter 1 for media art, web design, game development before you move to Chapter 2 as the skills compound, and you'll need that to continue working through. With media art, for example, just some basic examples of the learning contents and the things that you'll be able to do. We cover, the beginning of algorithms, trigonometric functions, how you can kind of control various media image in complex ways, how you can change items, their background colors, rotate them, animate them, etc. For game development, showing how you can obviously display characters, make those characters move, jump, kind of interact, how you create and display scores, time limits, essentially all the basics there of game development. And then finally for web design, understanding obviously here the biggest thing is the fundamental knowledge of HTML and CSS, how you display photos, lay out screens, create buttons, press those buttons, create screens that have dynamic elements and movements to them. So again, it's pretty comprehensive and lays that really, really solid foundation across those 3 core buckets.
What can you tell us about sort of how this came about? Because Disney is obviously very protective of its properties and tying in with a company for this kind of venture. Tell us more.
Yeah. So the way that this came about, again, so taking it back to the original roots of Life is Tech, obviously based in Japan, as I was mentioning, Life is Tech started with coding boot camps for people that were interested in learning how to code, but all of it was an in-person, as you can expect with present-day boot camps that still exist. In Japan, it became very successful, and people, once they attended these coding boot camps and seminars, became just kind of enthralled and really engaged in the way that Life is Tech was conveying and communicating such complex information in a really digestible way. And then just kind of through word of mouth and more people attending it, it became on the radar of a Disney executive in Japan. And that's how the conversation started there to create what kind of was in existence for Codeillusion with a handful of different anime type characters to then infuse it and make it an official collaboration with Disney on it. And then, as I mentioned, due to the success of when they launched it in Japan, is how now we're sitting here and talking about it for the North American market. Very cool. Where do people go to get more information and to take advantage of it? Yeah, so they can visit our website, which is just codeillusion.io. And then more specifically for the lesson-only plan that I had mentioned to you, they can, through the website, there is a banner across the top where it's calling you to kind of register now for that free trial. But essentially there, it's just codeillusion.io / lesson-only registration. And I'll be sure to share that link with you as well. Terrific. Again, it's codeillusion.io. Amanda Windsor, thank you for taking the time with us. Yeah, thank you very much. It's been great talking to you.
Cooking with the Power of the Sun. Hi, I'm Fred Fishkin, here to tell you about the latest innovation from my friend Patrick Sherwin and his great team at GoSun Stove. The GoSun Fusion has arrived using the company's tried and true reflectors and a solar vacuum tube to get you cooking without the mess of charcoal, heavy propane tanks, or smoke. A really bright idea. And with an optional solar panel and battery storage and the ability to plug in at home or on the road, you really can use the GoSun Fusion to cook anytime and anywhere, day or night, rain or shine. I love what Patrick and his team are doing, and so will you. Want to learn more? Head to gosun.co to check out all of the company's products and innovations and use the code Techstination to save 10%. That's gosun.co.